Thomas, it was more or less a reputation pick, although he is considered the, I believe, second best left tackle in all of football by the same website. So, I mean, I understand, what they're talking about with Joe. He's faces premier pass rushers week after week after week. I still see too many false start penalties out of him in a given season, and I think over the years he's committed quite a few that are out of character for him, but I can still understand why he's getting that return trip to Hawaii. And let's face it, he's been the most consistent Brown since they came back in 1999. So you have to tip your hat to him. Alex Mack, partially on reputation, partially on the fact that he came back from what was a pretty substantial leg break, and it didn't just come with a broken bone. According to Mike Pettin, there were a lot of ligaments and other things inside that leg that were damaged. So I think that's a nod to his ability to come back from that from his peers rather than, the fact that he's earned it on the field. He said he thinks he's been playing at a high level all season long and that he hadn't had much of a drop-off, and all the hype about him having a horrible start to the year was just that it was hype because he's felt like he's played at a consistent level all year. That could be debated. I would debate against it, actually, because I think he did need more time than he had to come back from the broken leg before he started playing at a decent level again. But, he's going to the Pro Bowl, and Joe Thomas is going to the Pro Bowl, despite the running struggles that have plagued this team pretty much the entire season. They've got two linemen going, and hopefully either some combination of Greg Olsen, Rob Gronkowski, Tyler Eifert, or Travis Kelce make it to the Super Bowl and allow Gary Barnes, the first alternate, to make it to Hawaii as
what
well.
A season.
Because in my estimation, he has earned it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think Joe on the lineman selection, Joe Thomas much closer to earning it with his play than Alex Mack. And of course, the looming figure with Alex Mack is he can walk. After this year, that contract, he can walk, and your safety net, your precautionary first-round draft pick, Cam Erving, looks like he doesn't belong in the National Football League. So what does that do? Again, Matt, just like the Justin Gilbert pick where you had to go out and sign a free agent, Traymon Williams, to cover that second corner spot, the Browns are going to need, if and when, and likely when, Alex Mack walks, you're going to need to go out and sign or commit another draft pick to a center. So it's more waste. It's more redundancy because you miss the first time. Now, Cam Erving, in fairness, never played guard before, but, Matt, I don't know if that really matters because do you want to see this guy at center? He's not strong. You said he needs to get in the weight room.
Well, from what I've been hearing recently about Irving's off-season pursuits last year, I'm not impressed. I watched the kid get beat on a regular basis, and he actually had an invite from a former Brown to come out and a former All-Pro lineman, I might add, to come out and work with him to get stronger and to get better. And he said, I'm good. I don't want to come out to the desert and work. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a hell of a thing from a rookie to turn down an invitation from a veteran. And this isn't a guy that you turn down lightly. This is a guy who, if you burn him, he actually goes public with it and doesn't care. Like there's just no filter on him. So I'm deeply concerned from that to see if he can grow. I was pleasantly surprised to hear him use a few expletives to actually describe his play this year when he was benched a couple weeks ago, and now he's back in the starting lineup because he has to be. But I just don't know with Cam Erving. It's I see him every day, and I look and go, there's just no way that you can watch that at the combine and think this kid's NFL ready. It's just not possible to look at his physique. And, having been to a few combines myself, I know just how much of a look these teams actually get on these players. And it's a pretty substantial look, and to think that he would be NFL ready in that body, I just don't know what the hell Ray Farmer was thinking.
Matt, not just a first-round pick, 19th overall. If he was a fourth-round pick, a mid-round draft pick, you would still consider this a disappointment. So maybe he has himself a hell of an offseason, is embarrassed by his play, and comes back strong. But you mentioned earlier Gary Barnidge and tying the franchise record with Ozzie Newsome with his 9th touchdown. What a year. And that is really the type of guy you want to come back, because he's still playing hard after his after getting his contract extension. You're listening to The Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. Happy holidays, everybody. Andy McNamara alongside Matt Florjancic on Twitter at AndyMC81 at Matt Florjancic. Okay, Matt, I know this is the unpleasant part of the show, but we actually have to talk about the upcoming game on Sunday, the Week 16 matchup, the 9-5 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 3-11 Cleveland Browns. It is in KC at Arrowhead Stadium, the second loudest stadium in the league. The Chiefs are on an 8-game winning streak. They just finished thumping the Baltimore Ravens 34-14. Now they face another AFC North opponent. The all-time series is tied at 11-2. But Matt, I am strongly leaning towards Kansas City taking the lead in that all-time series after Sunday. They are red hot.
Absolutely, they're going to take the lead in the series after Sunday. Like you said, red hot. I don't even know if that begins to describe the way that the defense is playing.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the stats yesterday and doing my game prep, and I was taken aback by the fact that not only do they get after quarterbacks, but, man, they force a lot of mistakes from quarterbacks as well. They've intercepted 20 passes, and they've taken 4 back to the house for touchdowns. And here's an interesting statistic. They've returned 4 interceptions for touchdowns. Their quarterback, Alex Smith, has thrown 4 interceptions on the season.
Jeez.
So that tells you that ball control, I mean, they're plus 15 for a reason. And that's a large reason why they've won 8 straight, because they take care of the football.
Great field position, too. The defense has really set them up and allowed Alex Smith to be what he has been known for his career, as a game manager. Now, I'll take a game manager if you're going to get me on an 8-game winning streak. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. It's a 24th ranked offense. The running game, despite so many injuries having to overcome with Jamal Charles, Niall Davis not getting the job done, Spencer Ware's nicked up, so Chakandrick West. Again, hey, tip for your daily fantasy league when you sign up at draftpot.com using promo code Browns, take Chakandrick West for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Browns. That's really, I think, the fantasy tip we can put out every week, Matt, is whoever the Browns are playing, take their running back, right?
Yeah, is it any much of a tip anymore? I think everybody's pretty much gotten it at this point that, hey, if you need a running back, find out who's playing the Browns and hot foot yourself over to the fantasy site and get him on your roster as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the offense with the Kansas City Chiefs, it won't wow you. They'll dink and dunk you to death. But as you said, 4 interceptions on the year, they don't turn the ball over. So they will march you. They will tick the clock down. They will score. The defense will punish you and give great field position. For the Browns,
pretty good formula to win.
Yeah, right. It might not be super entertaining. Like if you watch Kansas City Chiefs games, sometimes it can be quite boring. But again, I will take an 8-game winning streak for boring football. Yes, please sign me up. But Matt,
they've still averaged 29.75 points over this. I know the offense isn't slated as being much, but in this winning streak, they've averaged almost nearly 30 points a game. And had it not been for a 10-3 win they had 2 weeks ago, they would be averaging probably 35 points a game.
That's
so
wild.
They can score. It's not pretty, and it's like Novocaine. You just, it's like, remember the Titans. You just give it enough time, it'll work. But it has been effective for them. You have to give them credit for that.
Oh, sure. Now, the trouble is, you talked about the impressive defensive stats, and it ties back in with Cam Irving having to start. John Greco placed on injured reserve this week. Darius Jennings, who was released after playing pretty well, has been re-signed to the Browns. So with him back in the picture, maybe no more Dwayne Bowe again. Terrell Pryor, I'm not overly enamored with seeing him again. But hey, a 6'5" body, maybe they can figure something out. You got to catch the ball, though, Terrell. Just a little hint for you. But, Matt, the trouble is, if the defense is that good, and they're going to be putting everybody on Cam Irving and dumping on Johnny. That's the concern to me for this Browns offense to at least remain competitive in this ballgame.
That's going to be tough. I mean, you look at the lack of playmakers, the lack of solid blockers, and the fact that they're going up against a ferocious defense that has two of the best outside edge rushers that I've ever seen, and the stats back it up. I mean, Tamba Hali and Justin Houston have combined for 64 sacks over the last 2 years. Houston was a half a sack away from tying Michael Strahan's single-season record in the NFL. And you look at some of the other numbers that I won't bore you with, but this team is phenomenal. And they're only having the best 2 years. I think it's the third or second best 2-year run by a combination of Chiefs defenders in franchise history, because they've always been known to be able to get after the quarterback, specifically when Derek Thomas was playing with him. God rest him. But, looking at that, it's going to be tough to score points. It's going to be tough to move the ball. And I understand that they made a lot of progress in Seattle in that vein, but I just don't see it. I don't see it again this week. I think that this Kansas City team knows what is at stake, and they're going to come out, ready for bear, and they are going to run a hole through the Browns if they can.
Oh, boy. So that is going to go this Sunday. Okay, Matt, let's swing back to our Twitter question here, our Christmas Eve and Christmas holiday question here on the Doghouse. What current Browns player jersey would you want for Christmas? What current Browns player jersey would you want for Christmas? So let's get to the bark-off here. And on Twitter, at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic. First of all, let's get your pick, Matt. You can open up a present under the Christmas tree come Christmas morning, and you say, I want this jersey. You open it up, you see the Browns, you turn it over. What name is on the back?
Joe Hayden.
What?
I know you're going to ask why.
Yes,
what's
I am.
Going on, but no, in being around the Browns for Joe's entire career and watching all the work that he's put in and dealing with him on a level, not just in the locker room as a reporter, but as a fellow coworker for the Browns, and then even since I've left, just how good he's been to talk to and to answer any question legitimately about any subject. Joe Hayden's been a pleasure to work with, and I'm rolling with Joe because I think while this season may have been lost because of injury and concussions, I expect Joe to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a two-time Pro Bowler for a reason. I think he'll bounce back next year, and he'll be, pretty damn good for this team.
Well, he better be. They have desperately missed him this season, and he had, as you said, concussions, and then just a slew of injuries. Okay, mine goes to Gary Barnidge. Yes, I'm going with Gary Barnidge because, Matt, I think, as I said earlier, this is a guy with the attitude, with the demeanor, with the efficiency that actually covers one of the rare players on this team that actually does play like a Brown, what is listed on that accountability, play hard, work ethic, all that stuff. He actually lives up to that. And after he got the contract extension, that's always the big question. When a guy gets paid, does he still try? Does he still show up? Gary Barnidge went and got another touchdown, tying the franchise record in a single season for tight ends with Hall of Famer Ozzie Newsome. So I like Gary Barnidge. I like what he represents. He's going to be here for a little while. That's the other key. You don't want to be getting a jersey and then the guy leaving. So I'm sure everybody thought I was going to say Johnny. I'm sure everybody thought I was going to say Johnny, but I'm going with the safe bet, Matt. I'm going with Gary Barnidge.
A couple of years ago, my wife, God bless her, asked for a Browns jersey for Christmas.
Oh, boy.
And she said, give me a player that you think's going to be around for a while. I bought her Trent Richardson. He got
traded. No.
She's like, is it going to be Whedon or Richardson? Who do you think's going to last longer in Cleveland? And I thought for sure, hell, there's no way Brandon's going to last more than 2 years. And I was right. I was just wrong thinking Trent would be the long-term solution after what